Hey, welcome to Fluke. Up now, I want to take another look at this new copper flute, this low D copper flute, and maybe correct some things I said last time. So today I really want to look at the ergonomics of this, because I said last time that one of the reasons I got this was because of the shorter reach from the low C copper flute and the possibility of maybe playing this direct. And I have done a couple of projects now playing that way, but I got to noticing last weekend the inside of my wrist was hurting a little bit that evening after recording some of those projects, and I got to thinking, trying to figure out why, and picking up the copper flute again, I realized that while the finger spacing is very comfortable and small compared to instruments of this pitch range, the reach is actually kind of deceptive for me. So because of that finger stretch, made me not realize that it's actually further reach than I realized. So what that means is if I want to play direct, then I'm going to have to be a little more careful about ergonomic issues. And yeah, you won't be able to see that if I hold down. But the point is, if I just try to play with my fingertips, my wrist ends up at an angle like this, and that's not good. So if I'm going to do that, then I am going to need some kind of Piper's grip, even with the D. So it would probably end up more like this. But even that, I'm having a hard time really getting to a neutral playing position. So that does work a little bit better, basically to angle down like your just traditional low whistle grip or Piper's grip. So the ring finger is basically on the pad, but the other two are higher up on the finger, and kind of the same for the low hand. So having the ring finger on that note. And it's even a little more pronounced because my pinky finger doesn't really want to reach. Suppose I should put pinky finger as the padded finger and then go up from there. Okay, so that is doable with Piper's grip, and maybe I could get used to that. Despite that fact, I do have a new air adapter on order, so I'll show you that when it comes in. And in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at the older one I have and see how well that works. But before that, I just wanted to show you some of my other instruments just to convince you, and this is kind of what convinced me of what was going on here. This is a low D Shao. And you can see just how much difference there is there. Much higher on the tube, back hole, much higher on the tube with the standard Shao. This is a C Shao. So again, even going down to the C Shao has less reach. And on the back, even the back thumb hole higher up. Even if you get going lower than that, this is a low B Mojave 6 from Mike Turner, which I have trouble reaching. You can kind of see why on the bottom there is almost as low as the copper flute, and I do have trouble reaching this low B. But the top hand, and I have issues with the finger stretch on the top hand there. So that's a low B, much lower than the D. let's look at Native American style flute. This is a low A, right? So here's my, yo. So you look at this is a low A, much lower than the D, goes all the way down to D, or down to A, and you can see the bottom hand reach is about the same for the low note, but the top hand is not as far. And even if I go to a G, this is the biggest one I have, and it's side blown, so I have to line it up here. And this is just to give you a rough idea. Once again, the bottom hand is about as far of a reach, but the top hand is not as far. And again, that's all the way down to a low G. But it depends on the flute. Where'd Dylan go? Here. It's a new low C from Dana Ross I've posted recently. And I'm having a little bit of issue with this one. And line it up, and now I can see why. Because look at this. The top hand on that is about the same reach as the copper flute. And the bottom hand is in even further reach. However, this is interesting. If I line up the blowing edge, not the parts that you blow into, but the kind of the cutting edge, then the low C is much higher. So that gives me an idea for something else I'll show you later. But again, in terms of ergonomics on the low D, so your mileage may vary depending on what flutes you currently have in your collection. But just kind of word of caution to be aware of that, and make sure you're getting to as neutral as possible a playing position, or you're going to hurt yourself. All right, so with that in mind, like I said, I do have a new air adapter on order. This is the first generation, so it's not as flexible as the new style, and has that older hard plastic mouthpiece, if you will. So the new one, I'm sure, well, I know it will be because I've got one on the low C. The new one will be better, but just to give you an idea here of what I'm after. Okay, so with the air adapter, and you've seen this before probably on other videos here, but what that lets me do is get the basically the blowing position as high up as I want, and then I can play with the pads of the fingers quite easily. So this is probably going to be my preferred way of playing even the low D here, but fortunately we do have that option. So yeah, we'll get the new one in and show you that in a little while. Thanks.